Miss Gonzalez's bookshelf in her library is 6 out of 7 yard wide. Miss Gonzalez lines up the books on the bookshelf until it is 3/4 of the way full. What length of the bookshelf does Miss Gonzalez take up with books? Okay, so first off, I noticed this problem is about a bookshelf. And I also noticed that it gives me how wide it is. It is 6/7 yards wide. So that's not a whole yard. It's actually less than a yard wide because it's 6 out of 7. And she's lining up books on the bookshelf. So she's putting books on the bookshelf, except she doesn't fill it all the way. She fills it 3/4 of the way. What over 4 would make it a whole? That's right. 4 out of 4 would mean that the whole bookshelf would be full. But it says here it's 3/4 of that. So I know that that's not a whole. So that means she doesn't fill up the whole bookshelf. Now let me ask you a question. If I'm multiplying by 3/4, do I think the product is going to get bigger or smaller than 6 out of 7 if I'm multiplying by 3/4, which is a small fraction? That's right. The product I am expecting is actually going to be smaller or less because 3/4 is not the same as a whole. Okay, and I just want to confirm if she fills up the bookshelf 3/4 of the way, what operation do you think we are going to do if I see the word of? That's right, I am going to multiply because the width is 6 out of 7, and I'm filling it 3/4 of the way. So now I can multiply across. What is 6 times 3? I'm going to multiply my numerators first. That would be 18. And then I'm going to do 7 times 4. What's 7 times 4? Multiplying those denominators. That would be 28. Now, 18 over 28 is one of the correct answers. But can 18 over 28 be simplified? Yes, it can. I can divide the top and the bottom by 2. And I'm going to find that equivalent fraction. What is 18 divided by 2? You're right, that would be 9. I know that if I skip count by 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, it would take me 9 times. Now I have to do 28 divided by 2. Now this one's a little bit trickier. I'm actually going to divide 28 divided by 2. I know 2 can go into 2. 2 times what gives me 2? That would be 1. And then I also know 2 can go into 8. 2 times what gives me 8? You're right, that would be 4, because I know 2, 4, 6, 8. It would take me 4 times. So I also know my denominator would be 14. So my simplified answer would be 9 out of 14. So I want to make sure I put it as a fraction, 9 over 14. But I cannot forget my unit. In this problem, what is the unit or how I measure the bookshelf? That's right, it would be yards. So I need to make sure in this blank, I label that yards because that is how I measured the bookshelf. I also want you to remember that if you like using an area model, you could also solve this using an area model by showing 6/7 up and down. So 6 should be shaded out of 7. And let me show you what that looks like. So as you can see here, I'm starting with 6/7. So I've split it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces. And how many am I going to color in? You're right, I would color in 6. Okay, so as you can see here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces shaded out of 7. So this represents how many books are actually stacked in the bookshelf. So these represent all the books, and this represents the empty space. Now that I split it up and down, now I'm going to split it side to side because it's 3/4 of the way. So now I'm going to split it into 4 equal parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. And of these 4 rows, how many am I going to shade in? That's right, I'm going to shade in 3 rows. As you can see here, I have shaded in 1, 2, 3 rows out of 4. And my answer is going to be where the colors overlap, or where I see yellow and I also see blue. So when I look here at this section, I notice how many pieces are there all together if I count up all of the pieces. I notice there are 18 because I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6, 6, and 6 here. And 6 times 3 is 18. And when I look all together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 14, 21, 28. I got the same answer. And if I divide the top and the bottom by 2, and I simplify it, just like I did before, I know 18 divided by 2 is 9, and 28 divided by 2 is 14. I would get the same answer whether I multiplied across or if I drew a model. I hope this helps.